The Banff Wildlife Crossing Project in Alberta is essentially a bridge for animals and has reduced animal vehicle collisions in the area by more than 80%. It is not a single bridge as OP has indicated. There are 44 passes along the 83 kilometers of the Trans-Canada in Banff National Park alone, 6 overpasses and 38 underpasses, and they keep looking into adding more. For example, Highway 93 in Kootenay National Park. A new overpass is also being added on the east edge of the park. Total collisions with wildlife dropped just over 80%, while large animal collisions dropped more than 96%. https parks.canada.ca/pn-np/abs/banff/nature/conservation/transport/passages-crossing-htps parks.canada.ca/pn-np/bc/kootenay/info/passage-93s-crossing #. Canadian ingenuity. There is also one south of Sudbury. This needs to be the gold standard for all major roads. Pretty sure it is the giant fence lining the highway that is preventing animal collisions. It's awesome, but not new. I drove under it in 1990. There is also one that has been in place for a few decades in Ontario over Highway 489th. That one has a bunch of carvings on it showing the common animals in the area. And again, they are awesome. There are also multiple fence-corralled underpasses for the animals too. Fences about 2 or 3 miles in either direction that feed the animals to the underpass. Greater Vancouver Food Bank won't serve first-year international students. You'd hope not, since if they're passing the threshold to get a study permit of showing they have, in addition to their tuition fees, savings of over $20,000 for cost of living, and they're allowed to work to cover increased costs. If they've still gotten to a point where they need a food bank, something has gone badly wrong with their plan, and they should probably be using the resources they had to prove they had to buy the ticket home. Canada should raise the international students' entry requirements to at least $60,000 to reflect the current cost of living in this country. They shouldn't be serving any international students. That's sort of the point of the whole proving you have enough money to be an international student thing. Why are they helping any international students? I keep being asked to donate to food banks because they're struggling to meet the demands of hungry Canadians. Why are we inviting people to study here if they can't support themselves? Good. If you need a food bank in the first year, you did not qualify to come here legitimately. And just like I predicted, the trust has been abused to the point restrictions gotta be set. Before all this, we were a high trust country that never needed it. Today, Bergen op Zoom in the Netherlands celebrated 80 years of freedom due to the kind and brave Canadian soldiers. Thank you for liberating us 80 years ago. Old military vehicles, marching bands and veterans all marched through the city, with people celebrating all around. The march ended at the Central Market Square, where old veterans and family members gathered. As the Canadian national anthem was sung, the activities continued in the evening, where many marching bands played and much alcohol was served. The perfect weather conditions made for a great day. My uncle is buried there. Always wondered what he would be like if he survived. I think it was hard on my mom. My family came to Canada from the Netherlands because that's who liberated them. I've always wanted to visit during this time. I can imagine the festivities. Every time I've visited the Netherlands, they treat me like I was there and help with the negotiations and liberations. Lol, last time, just prior to COVID, an older lady noticed my Canadian flag on my jacket, and we ended up hanging out with her and having lunch while she told us about the day she saw the Canadians coming through. She was a child and her mum told her everything was going to be all right now, and she said that was The first time she truly believed the worst was over. She went on to tell us the soldiers gave her mum food and her a chocolate bar and the entire mood in her community changed and people were actually smiling. Needless to say, she brought us to tears and had a captive audience in the restaurant. Time stood still listening to this woman share her experiences prior to and after the liberation. And of all the lovely, amazing things I've experienced in the Netherlands, that afternoon was by far the most priceless and precious. I've been there. It's a fun place to be a Canadian and also watch independent professional wrestling. They may also have snooker golf, which is mini golf played like pool or snookers. NDP widens lead but BC election remains too close to call. Gist of the article. The absentee and mail-in ballots are coming in and strengthening some BC NDP riding wins while putting some other close ridings in danger of flipping from BC Con wins to BC NDP wins. Please note how I specifically wrote those as provincial parties. I guarantee conspiracy theories are going to start around Trudeau rigging mail-in ballots. Even though he isn't on the ballot, this doesn't help him. And even BC NDP leader David Eby keeps asking for bail reform for violent offences. Just a reminder for those outside BC, the NDP needs a majority with 47 seats, but the legislature still requires a speaker. This means the NDP would either lose an MLA and effectively become a minority government, or an MLA from another party would need to take on the speaker role. The last time this happened was in 2017, when an opposition MLA defied his party leader and became speaker. That MLA faced significant backlash from his party's supporters. I could see a similar scenario unfolding again. The BC Conservative Party is more of an alliance of convenience, where hard-right members and moderates don't get along well, with the leader leaning toward the far-right faction. A moderate MLA might opt to become speaker just to escape the internal chaos. To me, I think the real test is when they have to decide who will become the speaker TBH. Removed. Crazy to think it takes this long to call a provincial election. Conservatives on Twitter are already claiming the election is stolen. Really fed up with this rhetoric. Seneca Polytechnic to temporarily close Markham campus over international student cap. This post appears to relate to a province territory of Canada. As a reminder of the rules of this subreddit, we do not permit negative commentary about all residents of any province, city, or other geography. This is an example of prejudice, and prejudice is not permitted here. https://r/canada/wiki/rules set soumission semble concerner une province ou un territoire du Canada. Selon les règles de ce sous répertoire. Nous n'autorisons pas les commentaires négatifs sur tous les résidents d'une province, d'une ville ou d'une autre région géographique. Il s'agit d'un exemple d'intolérance qui n'est pas autorisé ici. https://r/canada/wiki/reglas*IAM_bot. And this action was performed automatically. Please contact the moderators of this subreddit. Message compose to =r Canada if you have any questions or concerns. Good riddance. Any school or campus that can't survive without international students deserves to fail. It's very sad that our post-secondary institutions have become addicted to international students, resulting in watering down their standards to accommodate them. Maybe they should downsize and increase their standards to supply educated people to the workforce, and rebuild on quality not quantity. Alternate headline, Diploma Mill closing. Oh no. Anyways, if that's all that's keeping it afloat, then they should close it entirely.